He is the analyst for the Bulls, Comcast Sportsnet Chicago, former Bulls player, and one time in one game, he and Michael Jordan combined for 70 points. Jordan had 69. Stacey King had one, I believe, and Stacey joins us. Is that right? Is that how it works, Stace?
Yeah, that's how it worked, Dan. He had 69, I had one, but no one really knew that. It sounded pretty good when I said it.
Do you think Jordan could have scored 100?
I think in his prime in this era, I think he could. With all the hand checking, it was a much more physical league back then, and I think he'd get to the free throw line a lot. Kobe had 81, so I think he could have done it. Is he still the best player on his roster in Charlotte? I think he can still come out and give you about 20, 22. I don't know how long he could play though. Yeah, he looks like he's catching up to Barkley. In fact, Barkley looks in better shape than MJ. Hey, I tell you what, it's not his golf game. So, but he still can come back and give you 20 in about 18 minutes. He have to call it a day. At the time when Derrick Rose went down, what was your reaction to what you thought the injury was? You know what? I was in shock. You could have heard a pin drop in United Center. It was one of those stop moment times where just everything seemed like it just stopped. And your immediate reaction was was it his ankle? But we being on TV, we have the luxury of replay, and you could tell that it was a knee, and I was just hoping that it wasn't the ACL. I guess the concern I had, Stacey, when I'm watching, you're up 12, there's 118 to go, and I don't even know what was said on the national broadcast or even locally, but my thought was, you've got this game, now move on to game 2. I don't want Rose in there any longer than I need to. I'm at home. I'm not going to blow a 12-point lead with a team that has played well without Derrick Rose. I know I'm second-guessing Coach Thibodeau, but is he taking heat in Chicago because of this? I think he's taking heat nationally, but this is not his fault. If you've seen this team play all year long, just a week ago we had a 10-point lead against the Wizards, and I know it's the Wizards, but we had a 10-point lead in going into the fourth, and we ended up losing. We had a 15-point lead against Houston a couple of weeks before that, and we ended up losing. And Coach Tibbs' defense, this is the way he coaches. He's been coaching this way, since he's been here. Derrick is one of those situations. He's missed 27 games this year, and I think in Tom Thibodeau's mind, I can't think for him, but I'm just from watching and covering. I just thought that the momentum of the game was changing a little bit, even though there was only like a minute and 12 seconds left. Also, Derrick, probably felt that Derrick needed to be out in the game to get his legs underneath him and keep playing and trying to get a rhythm, because Derrick had been struggling a little bit with his shot since he's been back, and I just think Tom Thibodeau's taking some unnecessary heat. Yeah, and like I said, when I'm watching it at the time, that was the only thing I thought is that Rose has been banged up the entire year. I just want him healthy. I want him to get healthier, not to just sort of stay where he's been with all of these injuries. So, maybe I'm nitpicking, not being fair to Coach Thibodeau, but that was my thought at the time. We're talking to Stacey King, Comcast Sportsnet Chicago analyst for the Bulls. Best team in the East is who? Well, of course, everybody's going to say Miami now, but since the way they dismantled New York. But, this Chicago Bulls team, if you haven't really seen this team, and, a lot of the national guys are writing them off, and, they can't win without Derrick Rose. And this team has been resilient all year. Their starting lineup, Dan, has only been together 15 times going into that first game against Philadelphia. So they've been able to have the best record in the NBA. They're the number one rebounding team, the number one defensive team, number one second chance opportunity team, and they did that without Derrick Rose. And Derrick Rose is not getting a lot of offensive rebounds. This team still has a chance. Is it going to be difficult? Yes. Has the road become much tougher now without Derrick Rose? Yes, it has. But again, this team is one. They were 18-9 without him. And they're going to find a way. The world doesn't stop revolving. You still must play these games, and they're going to go out and compete. And Tom is one of the best coaches at getting these guys focused on one game at a time. He's done it since he's been here, and I got the utmost confidence in him. Rajon Rondo bumping an official. Don't know if you saw the video. Yeah, I saw that. If you're the commissioner, you buy the excuse that I tripped, I didn't mean to bump him. No, you can't touch the officials. It's one thing if someone pushed you into him, but, Rondo is a fiery player. And, if you saw that play, it was a physical play. I mean, everybody was diving on the floor, and Dan, you've been around this game for a long time. The playoffs are very intense, and with this season being as condensed as it is, a lot of pressure on everybody. And so, Rondo's a fiery guy, and I thought he bumped him. I thought it was one of those things. He was upset about the call. He let the guy know, and the official threw him out. But I do expect for him to probably be out one game.
You had Andrew Bynum with a triple-double, 10 blocks. If I was going to look at him and Dwight Howard as stocks that you were going to invest in the future, who are you investing in more?
You know what? I mean, that's a tough one. I mean, I would go Bynum because I think when you look at the two, and not taking a look at how Dwight's been over the last, 6 months with the I'm staying, I'm going, I'm, fickle, favel, whatever. You look at Bynum's game. Bynum is one of those guys that if he can stay healthy, I think, in my opinion, he's the better center. And what I mean by that is he can score, he can rebound, and if he sets his mind to defending like he did yesterday in the first game, he had 10 blocks, and he can change the game. Dwight is a phenomenal talent, but I think somewhere along the line, Dwight has kind of got off track a little bit from what's important. And when you look at his stats, in the fourth quarter, can you keep him in the game? Can he be in the game in the fourth quarter? If you're a go-to guy, you got to have your go-to guy in the fourth quarter. You can play Andrew Bynum in the fourth quarter because he can make free throws.
Give me a Jordan story I haven't heard before I let you go.
Oh, man.
Practice, game, social.
You know what? He's the ultimate competitor. I hear this story for you. This is a guy he's the owner of the Bobcats, the Charlotte Bobcats now. But this is a guy who absolutely loves North Carolina. And whenever we would go down there and play the Hornets, as soon as we get off the plane, this is a guy who would tell you as soon as you touch the ground, I want everybody to bend down and kiss the ground. This is God's country. And guys would just look at him like, are you serious? Are you serious? But
did you?
This is how much he loves North Carolina. And this is why I say, Pete, he's taking a rap down there about the way that team is going. And, you probably could start for him at the two-guard, Dan. I've seen you shoot, you and the Danettes. I've seen you shoot a little bit. You might be a starting two-guard for him. But he's going to turn that team around. He's too competitive, too stubborn.
Did Jordan make you guys kiss the ground?
No, nobody can make us kiss the ground. I mean, there were some guys, like some of the rookies who wanted to stay on the team. They might do it, but not the veterans.
Tell me if this happened, though, that Jordan would bet you guys whose luggage would come down first on the carousel?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, Dan, he would bet you on anything. I mean, he would bet you like at shoot-arounds. He would, throw up shots sitting behind the bench, and he'd bet you that he could make it or he'd kick a ball in. I mean, anything that had to do with competition, you better believe he would bet. I mean, he would bet. And that luggage story is true, whose luggage would come off first. And, of course, when someone
But I heard, though, that, Stace, he fixed it, that he would pay the guy that – did you know this? He would pay the –
Yeah, he had somebody on the inside that helped him. But, the people who fell for it, those are the guys they always lost, and they want to know why they lost. Like, oh, my God, Michael is so great.
Was it Bill Wennington or Luke Longley? Is that who he took advantage of?
Hey, you know what? I'm not going to call those guys out. You trying to get me in trouble, DP?
I won't do that. Hey, have fun the rest of the playoffs, Stace. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me on the show.
All right, Stacey King, Comcast Sportsnet Chicago.